in this guy. Oh my gosh! Shohei Ohtani!
It's been 3 months since Shohei Ohtani etched his name into baseball immortality by becoming the first human ever to join the exclusive 50-50 club.
One-of-a-kind player! One-of-a-kind season!
A year since he's casually signed that jaw-dropping, history-making $700 million contract.
The Asian sensation just signed a 10-year deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers for $700 million. Only in America, baby. Only in America.
And 6 years since he stepped onto an MLB field and proceeded to wreck the entire rulebook.
Here's Ohtani, first major league at-bat, and he'll swing and bounce one through the right side of base hit.
Whether you're a diehard stats nerd like me or someone who just watches baseball for the nachos, hey, look, one thing's crystal clear. The MLB has not been the same since Ohtani touched down. You don't even have to like the guy to admit it. Now, you can even argue that if Ohtani decided to hang up his bat right now, kick back on the beach somewhere, and then just call it quits, he'd still be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. That is how ridiculously good he is. From obliterating every record in sight to making up new ones just because he can, these are 20 insane times that Shohei Ohtani shocked the world. And to get this list started, we're going to hop back to June 27th of 2023, because even after years of obliterating the league, this might be the single greatest performance by one player in MLB history.
Are ready to go. So is Shohei Ohtani, who's looking for win number 7 of the season.
Facing the Chicago White Sox, Ohtani went full beast mode. On the mound, he struck out 10 batters over 6 1/3 innings, allowing just 1 run. But pitching dominance was only the appetizer.
Misses, Steve. It's the 3rd strikeout of the inning. 9th strikeout tonight for Ohtani.
At the plate, Ohtani launched 2 baseballs into orbit. One in the first inning.
Out for Kopech, and it could be 1-0 right here.
See what I mean? That is high. That is deep. That is gone. That is number 27 for Shohei Ohtani.
And another in the 7th.
A couple of years ago,
Ohtani hits one in the air, left center field, hit well. Robert is back, so has been intended. It's gone! Shohei Ohtani with his 2nd of the night.
And just like that, he became the first American League pitcher in 60 years to pull off this ridiculous combo of power hitting and strikeout mastery. Oh, and he didn't stop there. He went 3 for 3 with a walk, which ended up bumping his batting average to .304. Now, just in case you don't get how good this is, the last guy to do that was Pedro Ramos in 1963. And that was all the way back when people thought moon landings were science fiction. So when Ohtani pulled this off, of course it made our jaw drop.
Ohtani struck out 10 on the mound. He earns the victory. He hits 2 home runs in this game.
If there's anything more insane than that, it has to be the time Ohtani ripped the hardest hit ball by a left-handed batter. In the game against the Astros on April 10th of 2022, Ohtani stepped up to the plate and did something that made radar guns sweat. He fired a ground rule double to right field that left his bat at a blistering 119.1 miles an hour.
119.1. That's the velocity.
Give me that one more time, sir.
119.
Kidding me?
Put the .1 in there just for
Again, to put it into perspective, this was the hardest hit ball by any left-hander since StatCast started measuring things in 2015. And because Ohtani's biggest rival is himself, the previous record was his too, a 119-mile-an-hour double off Scott Barlow in 2021.
here's the 1-1 to Ohtani.
And that's hit well into the corner. That'll rattle around and right and clear the bases.
Now, this feat put Ohtani in a club where only 2 other guys have managed to hit balls that hard more than once.
Hardest hit ball in Major League Baseball this season, 119 miles an hour off the bat.
Giancarlo Stanton, who hits baseballs like they owe him money 28 times, and Aaron Judge, who basically moonlights as a demolition expert. So even though the Angels lost that day, Ohtani made sure his highlight reel had his name all over it, just like he had his name all over the Angels' comeback in a game against the Rangers. 5 days after making those radar guns cry, Ohtani decided that he wasn't done with the highlight reel. This time, he took matters into his own hands during a game against the Texas Rangers. The Angels were up against the Rangers, and things exactly weren't going their way. But when the game looked like it was slipping away, Ohtani did what he does best, made everyone forget about the scoreboard. In the top of the 5th inning, Ohtani crushed his 2nd homer of the game.
Ohtani sends another one out to right field. That one doesn't stand a chance to stick around.
A majestic 2-run shot to right field that practically brought the Angels within a run of the Rangers. And then, another 5 days after that, he made our jaws drop again. In a game against the Astros on April 20th of that same year, Ohtani made history in a way that only he could. First, he stepped up to the plate twice before even touching the mound. Yeah, you heard that right.
First in Major League history, he's batting for the second time before he's ever thrown his first pitch as a starting pitcher tonight.
He had a walk and a double in the first inning and then helped the Angels jump out to a 6-run lead.
Swings at that one and lifts it in the air. That ball's carrying deep down the left side. That ball is going to be off the out-of-town scoreboard. The Angels are going to see Shohei.
And remember, he hadn't even pitched yet. When it finally came time for him to throw, he wasn't messing around. Ohtani took a perfect game into the 6th inning because of course he did.
He got him. That is 11 strikeouts.
He ended up striking out 12 batters over 6 innings and allowed just 1 hit. No runs. The Astros couldn't catch a break.
Good run. He got him. That's a dirty dozen.
Up until this point, no other starting pitcher, and I mean no one at all in MLB history, had ever batted twice before taking the mound in the same game. And with the new universal DH rule in play, Ohtani's feat gets even crazier. He's the first and likely the last player to ever do it, which means he's basically the only one who can add 2-time hitter, 1-time pitcher to his resume. And you know what else is pretty crazy? The 2023 World Baseball Championship. In the top of the 9th inning, with everything hanging in the balance, Ohtani found himself facing off against the last person you'd expect to be on the opposite side, his own teammate, Mike Trout.
Regal excellence of Japan, the overwhelming talent of the United States. And in a 1-run game with 2 gone in the 9th inning.
Ohtani had already been warming up in the bullpen, getting ready to come in as the closer. His first time doing that since 2016. The tension was building, and as the inning went on, it became clearer and clearer that Ohtani was going to face Trout with a chance to seal the win. So there they were, 2 of the best players on the planet. Trout worked a full count, fouling off a few pitches, but Ohtani had one weapon left to unleash, his nasty sweeper. The pitch was perfect, darting across the plate just out of Trout's reach. Trout swung and whiff. Ohtani got him. Strike 3. Japan's 3rd WBC title was theirs, and it was all thanks to Shohei freaking Ohtani. Similarly, when the Angels were stuck in a brutal 14-game losing streak back in 2022,
3-2, hit in the air to right field. It's out beautifully. It is over. The Phillies have won it here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
it felt like they couldn't catch a break. But when Shohei Ohtani took the mound and slotted into the 2nd spot in the lineup, you knew something special was brewing.
Angels, in fact, in the 14-game losing streak, 7 of the losses have been by 1 run. They've had leads in 6 of them.
The Red Sox tried to dampen the mood by sneaking in a run on a sac fly in the 5th inning, and Angels fans started sweating, wondering if the slump was going to hit 15. But Ohtani, he wasn't having it. The dude grabbed his bat, strolled to the plate like it was just another day at the office, and boom. He crushed a go-ahead 2-run homer that flipped the script and gave the Angels a lead that they weren't letting go of.
Drives that one, hit well. Shohei Ohtani has done it! He's back in the saddle. 2-1 Angels.
Now, this is far from the only time Ohtani saved the Angels' ass like that. See, heading into the big series against the first-place Rangers, the Angels kind of needed a miracle, like they always do. And who better to provide it than baseball's own superhero? Over 4 days, Ohtani put on an absolute clinic, smashing baseballs and baffling batters.
Shohei. Long drive, left center field, way back. Shohei Ohtani starts tomorrow. Tonight he cracks a home run.
He wrapped things up in style on June 15th, launching his 4th homer of the series, a 443-foot missile to the opposite field.
Throughout this series. Here's a high fly ball, left center field. He's done it again. Shohei gives the Angels a 5-2 lead.
Oh, and just for fun, he also outdueled Texas ace Nathan Eovaldi and notched his 6th win of the season on the mound. By the end, the Angels walked away with a big series win. And the Rangers? Well, they got a front row seat to the Ohtani experience. Just 1 day after the Angels made it clear that they were ready to make a serious playoff push, Ohtani took the mound in Game 1 of a doubleheader at Comerica Park and threw the best game of his career. It wasn't just a good start, it was a complete game shutout. Ohtani only allowed 1 hit, a single in the 5th inning.
Softly to center, and that's the first hit of the day for Detroit.
After pushing nearly 100 by the 8th inning, he came out for the 9th to finish what he started. He wrapped up with 111 pitches, just 6 shy of his career high from 2021. And speaking of Ohtani's jaw-dropping moments, let's talk about one of the most insane pitches in MLB history. Facing the Astros at Minute Maid Park in September of 2022, Ohtani unleashed his fastest pitch ever, a blistering 101.4-mile-an-hour fastball that completely blew Kyle Tucker away in the third inning.
And he put him away with 101, and the emotion from Shohei Ohtani.
What made it even more impressive was that it was the fastest strikeout pitch by an Angels pitcher since pitch tracking began in 2008. Ohtani went on to allow just 1 run on 6 hits, fanning 7 over 5 innings, securing his 12th win of the season. And in the final stretch of his MVP battle with Aaron Judge in that same month, Ohtani delivered a performance that had fans on the edge of their seats.
Here tonight, but one thing we know is it's going to be spectacular because every single time he takes the mound, he is absolutely dominant. God is in there.
Taking the mound against the Athletics, he came really close to pulling off his first career no-hitter, falling just 4 out short. After a single broke up the bid in the 8th inning, Ohtani stayed composed and promptly induced a ground out to finish off his 10-strikeout scoreless masterpiece.
And Rethink on the backhand, long throw, and got him. What a night for Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani, easy bomb.
On June 21st, he went full beast mode at the plate, racking up 8 RBIs, smashing 2 home runs.
He does, in fact, square it up.
And tying the game with a clutch 3-run blast in the 9th.
2-2 to Shohei Ohtani. He has done it.
Basically, the dude was a one-man wrecking crew. And then, just when everyone thought they'd seen enough, Ohtani rolled back to the mound the next day and made Royals hitters look silly. He racked up a career-high 13 strikeouts over 8 scoreless innings.
2 coming. It is in there. A career-high 13 strikeouts for Shohei Ohtani.
Putting on a pitching clinic. For the stat nerds out there, no player in MLB history has ever stacked up 8 RBIs one day and then struck out 10 or more batters in the next. But hey, when you're Ohtani, breaking records is just part of the daily grind, just like he did with that grand slam back in 2022. Now, with the bases loaded and the Rays sweating bullets in the 7th inning, Ohtani turned Calvin Foucher's pitch into a one-way ticket to the bleachers. That blast wasn't just his first grand slam in MLB, it was his first grand slam ever, including his days in Japan.
Ohtani's never had a grand slam until now. There it is. Sugoi.
Apparently, he was just waiting for the right moment and the right continent. But Shohei didn't stop there. He went 3 for 4 on the day and drove in a career-high 5 runs, almost single-handedly giving the Angels an 11-3 victory. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm even more impressed by the fact that he's been making jaws drop since the very minute he joined the big leagues back in 2018. Shohei Ohtani didn't exactly roll into the majors with a smooth spring training. In fact, it had some fans sweating bullets. But once the games really mattered, Ohtani flipped the script fast. After picking up his first MLB hit in Oakland, he made his Angel Stadium debut one to remember. Bases loaded, a wild pitch scored a run, and then Ohtani stepped up and obliterated a ball into the stands for his first career homer.
That's out toward right center field. Going back on it is Zimmer. At the wall. Gone! Big fly, Ohtani-san!
The crowd went bonkers, and his teammates, not so much. They gave him the classic silent treatment. But even their best poker faces couldn't hide the fact that Ohtani just announced himself in a big way. And from there, it only got more insane. For starters, the very next year, he did the impossible. Now, hitting for the cycle is pretty rare in the MLB, but Ohtani being Ohtani made it look ridiculously easy in just his second year in the majors at Tropicana Field. He kicked things off by crushing a 3-run homer in the first inning.
1-1. Shohei drives one out toward left center field. Kiermaier going back and at the wall. Gone!
By the third, he casually ripped a double.
Patrick O'Neal might have to do nothing this weekend. Shohei lines one out the left to Kiermaier. Shohei on his way to second. He's got himself a double. Home run and a double, so he's halfway to the cycle, Gooby.
Then in the 5th, he legged out a triple. At this point, everyone knew that he was just a single away from completing the set.
Breaking ball, he hooked this one into the right field corner. See if he can get Shohei is going to try to go to third. Absolutely. Long run for Avi Garcia. And we're almost in the cycle. All he needs is a single.
And in the 7th, he delivered a textbook knock to center field.
Shohei, a little flare out to right center field. There's a base hit. And Shohei Ohtani has just hit for the cycle.
And with that, he became the first Japanese-born player to pull off a cycle in MLB history.
Baseball first Japanese-born player to hit for the cycle, Shohei Ohtani.
And speaking of history, he made history yet again on April 4th of 2021. To put it simply, it was precisely the day Ohtani showed the world what really meant to be a two-way player. Manager Joe Maddon decided to throw a curveball, pun intended, and slotted Ohtani as the number 2 batter while he was on the mound. Now, I know it seems pretty normal right now because we've watched him pull it off so many times, but at the time, it was absolutely insane. And as usual, Ohtani wasted zero time proving why he's a baseball unicorn. After a clean top of the first, he stepped up to the plate and crushed a 451-foot homer off of Dylan Cease.
And first pitch crushing! Oh, man! Lean into it!
That was all the baseball world needed to know. The two-way phenom was here. And, well, with that, in his July 2nd performance against the Baltimore Orioles. Again? Well, first, he casually launched not one, but 2 bombs, his 29th and 30th homers of the season, because apparently one wasn't enough. When the game was tied in the bottom of the 9th, the Orioles decided that they've seen enough fireworks and gave him a free pass to first. Big mistake. Ohtani turned into a base-stealing ninja, swiping second twice, thanks to an earlier foul ball.
Paul Fry. Shohei's going again. Throw down. He swiped that one.
Safe is the call.
There's your winning run. Elite speed.
Then, on a single from Jared Walsh, he put the pedal to the metal and dashed home for the walk-off win.
Last.
Walsh lays it into right field. Here comes Shohei. The throw to the plate. The slide. The Angels win.
Talk about sensational. Another sensational moment would be the time that Ohtani aced his 40th home run of the 2021 season. Shohei Ohtani's 2021 MVP campaign was already looking like a superhero origin story, and this game just added another chapter. After mowing through 7 innings of one-run ball against the Tigers, the man decided to give himself some insurance, so naturally he stepped up and smashed a 430-foot moonshot to right field for his 40th homer of the season.
Oh, Ohtani got it! He got it! Number 40! A franchise record for left-handed hitters, 3-1 halos!
Now, as if that weren't enough, he jogged back to the mound and casually struck out his 8th batter in a spotless bottom of the 8th. And if we're being real, then this list wouldn't be complete without talking about the time Ohtani owned the field at Fenway Park. Yep, on the same field where Babe Ruth once showed off his two-way magic, Ohtani carved up the Red Sox lineup with 11 strikeouts over 7 scoreless innings.
The 3-2. He got him again! 11 for Ohtani!
But this is Shohei, so of course pitching dominance ain't going to be enough. He also smacked 2 hits, including a bases-loaded rocket that flew into the stratosphere.
Here in the 8th. Ohtani sends one the other way. That one's off the monster.
To top it all off, Ohtani became the first starting pitcher to bat in one of the top 4 spots at Fenway since the Babe himself did it in 1919. And just like the Babe, Ohtani made our jaws drop again when he joined the elite 40-40 club. Coming into the game needing just 1 homer and 1 steal to join the ultra-exclusive 40-40 club, he wasted no time swiping his 40th bag in the 4th after singling his way aboard.
There goes Ohtani, and he's going to steal it. Number 40 for Shohei. 39 home runs and 40 stolen bases.
But of course, Ohtani had to save the fireworks for the 9th inning. With 2 outs, the bases loaded, and the game tied, he launched a walk-off grand slam that sent the crowd into a frenzy.
Pitch. Fly ball, right center field. Series going back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. 40-40. Walk-off grand slam. No way.
Not only did he become the 6th and fastest player to ever hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in a season, but he also became the first Dodger to achieve the feat. Oh, and he casually locked in his 2nd straight 40 home run season. And now that we're down to number 1, I bet you can guess what it already is. I'm talking about the night that Ohtani casually decided to open a whole new VIP section in the record books, the 50-homer, 50-steal club. And of course, he did it in style. First, he smashed 2 homers to hit the magic 50 mark.
On a 1-2, Ohtani sends one in the air. The other way. Back it goes. Gone!
And then he added a 3rd in the 9th just for fun, bringing his tally to 51.
Are watching this guy. Oh my gosh! Shohei Ohtani! The greatest day in baseball history!
Not satisfied, he swiped 2 bags and also had number 50 and 51 over there, roped 2 doubles, and drove in a jaw-dropping 10 runs while going a perfect 6 for 6 at the plate. Oh, and that 50th homer, it also broke the Dodgers' single-season record, topping Sean Green's 49 from 0-1. Basically, it was like Ohtani unlocked every achievement in the baseball world and did it while barely breaking a sweat. And that is exactly why he's one of the greatest, if not maybe the greatest baseball player the world has ever seen. Or at least that's what we think. Let us know what you think in the comments.